Hello, YouTube. What's up? Today, we're going to talk about something I'm asked very often. Why am I no longer solo maining Fox? And why am I picking up Sheik? Now, some of you guys might know this, and it's really not that difficult of a question. So not only are we going to go into why, but also kind of do a matchup chart for Sheik and kind of explain what matchups I'm picking her up in, how much I'm going to play her, what are my plans moving forward, and yeah, a little bit of that. Isn't that? So to start off with, I've basically only played Fox in tournament in any serious set for a very, very long time. Ever since I dropped Yoshi and Falco. I actually started out as a Falco main, picked up Yoshi for a while when I got too good for people in my region, and I thought Yoshi was really fun to play, and then eventually settled on Fox. But now it's finally time for me to switch from playing Fox only and pick up Marth. Sorry. It's time for me to stop playing Fox only and pick up Sheik for Marth specifically. Some people might say it's not that bad. The Fox Marth matchup isn't that bad. You're just whining. I think people can have that opinion, but if you're not a top level player, I don't give a shit, honestly. Like, you can have whatever opinion you want. I'm sure it's not that bad at your shitty level, and I'm sure you'll listen to someone else say it's not that bad and now you take their word for it. I'm allowed to do what I want, and you're allowed to do what you want. I think it's important to think about why you're picking up a secondary. I am not going to be a co-main. I'm not going to play half Sheik, half Fox. I think that would be kind of silly because the only matchup I really think my Fox needs help in is Marth, and that is because of a couple reasons. First and foremost, I'm very good at the low tier matchups. I think there's quite a few matchups where Sheik actually does better than Fox does in, but most of those matchups aren't super relevant, and I don't have experience in those matchups. Like, I don't have experience in Sheik versus Doc, for example. So I would rather keep it simple and kind of minimize it. That said, you still have to be ready for a lot of different characters, for blind picks, for counter picks, where you're forced to play Sheik into another matchup than just Marth. Any Marth player that plays more than one character, I'm going to have to be ready for all their characters in case I beat their Marth really hard and they swap on me. So I still play Sheik in a lot of matchups. I warm up usually with Sheik, and I recently won a European tournament going Sheik only as well. It's the biggest European tournament, European online tournament so far. So let's first start off with Fox Marth. I think Fox Marth is a really bad matchup at top level. FD makes it incredibly hard to win if you lose the first game, and the mental block of just having a basically free win for the opponent is so rough. So some people were saying, maybe you should just pick up another character for FD specifically. And I thought about that, but the problem is that there's no real character that beats Marth on FD. The closest is like ICs with wobbling, I would say. Puff does okay because Puff is Puff, but FD is not the best stage for that matchup anyway. Falcon does pretty well, arguably the best, but I think the Falcon gets counterpicked pretty hard if you're not amazing Falcon player. Like, they can just go Falco on FD, or they can just go Sheik, and it's going to be really hard unless you're very warmed up. And Falco's not really my style, so I eventually settled down on playing Sheik. Another thing people said was, okay, so you're just going to play Sheik on FD. The thing is, Marth Sheik on FD is actually not a good matchup at all. I think it's by far Marth's best stage in the matchup, and it really is what makes the matchup not that bad for Marth, because Sheik can't get down if you get hit up once. You can't really recover. You can't really play neutral all that well without platforms. So it's a really, really heavily Marth favorite stage in that matchup. But because the matchup is less volatile and it's not as bad as the Fox Marth matchup, it's still much, much better. However, I wouldn't really pick up a character for one single stage. The main problem I have with the Fox Marth matchup is, one, there's no good counter picks for Fox. Two, FD is the strongest counter pick in top level melee, versus Fox specifically. It has a huge swing. Even if I'm way better than the opponent, they can still get a win with FD Marth. And three, the neutrals are also bad. I don't really know if there's any stage where I'm like, yeah, this is perfect for Fox versus Marth. Some people say Dreamland, but Dreamland gives too much space for Marth, and you'd kill him really, really late with up smash while he still keeps you at the same percent with edge guarding. Like Yoshi's, you can get quick early up airs, but if he smash jazz them, then suddenly you get stuck on the platforms and get up tilted and F smash to hell. FOD, it's super easy to lose the scrambles. Pokemon Stadium is basically just an FD with 2 platforms that are perfect for up tilt coverage by Marth. And Battlefield has trouble with both the edges, and the big stage gives Marth the ability to avoid close quarters. So basically what I quickly realized was I'm going to have to pick up Sheik for real. Not just as a simple counter pick. I'm going to have to play Sheik on all the stages, not just FD. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. So far, it's been going great. It took a time, and it's affected my Fox a little bit. My Fox is a little bit rusty now because I'm focusing a lot on Sheik. But now that I've gotten through like the worst, just picking up a new character, kind of figuring out what I want to do, how I play this character, I feel like I can kind of go back to playing mostly Fox again. Some people will ask me, do you really think your Sheik is good enough for Zane? And I think yes, it definitely will be. I've already been playing versus Zane, and obviously it's just friendlies, but I still feel like I can already keep up, already do comparable to how my Fox would do. And considering how new it is, I only expect it to get better. Outside of that, I'm just excited to have that matchup. I like melee more now that I don't have to worry about the fucking Fox Marth on FD matchup. You know, my skin's clearer, I sleep better, I get more done. Housework isn't as annoying anymore. You know, like not having to play Marth Fox just really improved my life tremendously. So yeah, we'll kind of see. I'll probably make an actual Fox matchup chart at some point, but for now we're gonna end it with doing a Sheik matchup chart, and I'm kind of gonna explain outside of the Marth matchup, are there any other matchups I would want to use Sheik in? And I think there's a couple, and we'll get to them. All right, so first off, we're gonna go with the matches that Sheik destroys. Bowser, obviously awful. You can chain grab forever. Ganondorf, awful. This might be like 65-35, but who cares? Kirby, actually not that bad because Kirby can crouch under a lot of things, but if you actually know how to juggle Kirby, it's really hard for him to come down. Link gets chain grab too, but plays okay in neutral. Just dies whenever he gets hit. DK's like 65-35 too. It's not unwinnable because DK gets like super hard juggles on Sheik if you ever get into the air, and FD's annoying, but you can chain grab him once like you're past like 20%, and edge guarding is really bad for him too. Mario is really bad. Mewtwo is bad for sure. I would say Mewtwo is like also pretty close to 65-35. Ness is awful. Pichu is awful. Roy is awful. Younglik is awful. Like for the other characters, Zelda is super abysmal. This is probably the worst matchup, honestly. Like even worse than Bowser. Solopopa is awful. Although Solopopa does have a chain grab at least, but it's not that bad. Game & Watch is awful. I think that's about it. I can probably make another tier actually. 65-35. And here we'll have Doc. No, I think Doc's 6'4" actually. We'll have Mewtwo. We'll have these characters. Luigi maybe. Luigi might be 6'4", honestly. Luigi's very close to 6'4". We'll put him at the front. I think this is probably how I would rank it. I think Mewtwo is actually pretty solid versus Sheik. It's not super bad, but it is still hard, of course, but it's not as bad as some people think. I thought Mario's punish was better versus Sheik than Doc. Interesting. Not even close. Doc has the ability to edge guard with F smash that kills much earlier, down smash as well, and down throw fair. Yeah, I think Luigi's probably 6'4". The more I think about it, like the up B, edge guard. Yeah, it's probably 6'4". Next up, we're gonna kind of start to go from reverse. So the worst matchups, the matchups I would never play Sheik in, is Puff. Puff kind of destroys Sheik in a tournament setting because any mistake is punished by rest. It doesn't matter if it's like a whiffed grab, a CC tilt, a CC down smash, a CC aerial, or if it's just you got back thrown and then you had to recover on stage and Puff rested you. Awful matchup to play. It's not impossible, and if the Sheik is playing super on point, it's actually more even. I would say 45-55. But again, in a tournament setting, it's just really annoying to have to play super conservative, whereas the Puff can kind of play randy and just like do whatever they want. As long as they get a rest, it's fine. But Sheik does have some nice options in it. She can needle to edge guard. Backer's really good. Platform camping is good in general. The problem is just that like the neutral is even-ish or maybe Sheik favored, but the punish is super Puff favored. That's the only 4-6 matchup I think. And again, I think this could maybe be changed to 55, 45, 55. But right now I'm going to put it at 4-6. Next up, we have the second worst matchup, which I think is Fox. I don't think Fox is ultra terrible or anything. The problem is that you have to learn reaction tech chasing, which is very hard to be consistent at in tournament. And the FD counter pick is really, really bad if you don't have on-point tech chasing. And even if you do, it can be rough. I do think that with potential developments, this matchup does trend more towards even, which is one of the nice things. Some people are comparing this to like as bad as Fox Marth, but you know, good for Fox instead. I would say it's kind of similar, but I do think that Fox definitely does not beat Sheik as badly, and I don't think the results support that, as well as the fact that I think there's more developments for Sheik in that matchup than there is for Fox in the Marth matchup. In the Fox Marth matchup, I feel like it's just getting worse for the Foxes, whereas I feel like for this matchup with Sheik, it might get better for Sheik, it might get worse for Sheik, but we don't know yet, which is a much better sign than it will probably get worse as Marth starts Smash Daddy more. Outside of that, I don't think Sheik has any more losing matchups. Even matchups, I would say, is Falco. Falco is even or close to it. It could be a slight Sheik advantage, honestly, and it could be a slight Falco advantage. I would probably lean towards Sheik advantage if I had to do anything. Falco doesn't have amazing edge guards on Sheik and definitely dies very easily once you do get the good hits. This is really one dependent on how hard can reaction tech chase. If Mango did not play Fox as well, I might actually play Sheik versus him. But because he plays Fox too, I don't really feel like it's worth it. I would have to learn 2 matchups and he would only have to learn 1 more. And I mean, he already knows the Sheik matchup, so not really worth it. Outside of that, does Sheik only have 1 even matchup? Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. Okay, so winning matchups. I would say winning matchups is Falcon. Falcon is not extremely bad. It is I think it definitely leans towards Sheik, especially because if the Falcon's playing kind of off, then she can easily get 1 good hit. But I do think that really clean Falcon neutral and Falcon punishes makes this matchup much harder. Some people might disagree with this, but most of them are mid-level. If you're mid-level, it's like 6-4 clean. But I think as it gets better, it gets more and more even. Next up, I would say is Peach. Peach definitely loses to Sheik. It might be like a 57-43 or something. I played that matchup versus Triff, and honestly, although Triff could be playing better, the lack of like combos Peach has from down smash on Sheik, and she doesn't get much from grab either, kind of lets Sheik just sit and shield way more than you would normally be allowed to against Peach, which is one of her biggest threats, until you get to high percent where like a forward throw or back throw will send you off stage. Needles are great for edge guarding. Platform camping is good. Boost grab is a great counter to her CC neutral, and Sheik's aerials are just amazing at edge guarding her and keeping her out of the air. Next up, I will say that we have Yoshi. I actually think, never mind. I think Ices are a tough call. If you don't have wobbling, I feel like this is a clean 6-4 for Sheik. With wobbling, some people think Ices win. I don't think it's quite that bad. It's just a very annoying matchup. You have to play super patient. With wobbling, it might be even, in my opinion, but because it has no wobbling, I'm just gonna put it in the middle. 55-45. I need to play this matchup more, but I do think that Sheiks just aren't super practiced in this matchup. You do have to play very patient and very clean, but I think if like Sheik and Ices were the most common characters, you would actually see Sheiks be amazing at like killing Nan and such. But yeah, it is a matchup you really have to learn. Next up is Yoshi, actually. I think Yoshi is either 6-4 or 55-45. I need to play this more against like Amsa and such. It is a matchup I will experiment using Sheik with in. Plup did lose to Amsa twice now, but I'm not sure how well he knows the matchup. It can be really hard for Yoshi to get in from the edge, and the chain grab is strong, but it is not as good as people thought in the beginning. So we'll kind of have to see. Generally, I would say that Fox already does very well against Yoshi, so I'm not exactly sure why I should swap. It would be one of those things where like maybe I'm having an off day with the Fox, I can pull it out. Pikachu, I would say it's a 6-4, but like not a hard 6-4. The reason why it acts really well in this matchup, I think, is because no one really knows the matchup, myself included, by the way. Sheik is good at edge guarding. She's good at playing the neutral you need to. She can get juggled, but I think if you really know the matchup, it becomes a lot harder. And Pikachu doesn't have any super strong counter picks. This is actually one of the matchups where I might consider using Sheik in, because FD, Pikachu versus Fox, is really, really bad for Fox. One grab past 5% or so is guaranteed death every single time. Axe isn't amazing at chain grabbing or finding the grab, but if he ever became like truly great at it, it would be almost impossible to take a match on FD, I feel like. And having that Sheik would help a lot. But yeah, I definitely think this is a better matchup than Fox Pika. Next up, we have Samus. Samus is also bad. Like, I think Samus is like worse than Doc. Samus is just kind of gets destroyed by needles. Can't really play the neutral super well versus Sheik crouch and her jumping ability at the same time. She kind of has to hard call out jumps, or she has to hard call out the crouch. Sheik is one of the characters that can edge guard Samus really well, can juggle her really well. Grab is a good way to break CC and get juggle started. But at very high level, it might trend towards being 55-45 if the Samus is playing super clean and hitting everything. But in general, it's definitely not a good matchup and requires the Samus to play very, very good. All right, and then we only have Marth left. Now, some people have been saying that Sheik clearly wins this. Some people go the complete other way and saying that perfect Marth neutral swings the other way, and it's Marth favor at top level. For me, it's very, very hard to tell because I haven't played this matchup in tournament yet, and I think tournament is where Marth struggles more in terms of like, if Marth messes up an edge guard or misses a tipper spacing or something, he can really struggle with killing. But if he hits everything, it looks very, very good instead. The thing is, if Marth only got a nerf from tournament like he usually does, like sometimes a character gets way worse because they have to play in tournament or I have to play a matchup in tournament, then I would be inclined to put this at a clean like 55-45. However, the problem is that in tournament, compared to playing friendlies, you always get FD with Marth, and always having the FD to swing back from whenever you're playing bad is extremely, extremely good. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll probably come back to this. Honestly, Marth could win this matchup. I think it's completely possible. And I would not regret picking up Sheik, even if this was 45-55. Because honestly, I think Fox Marth is like 65-35 or something like that in terms of win percentages, as in like two equally skilled players who takes the most set, mainly because of FD and Fox not having a counterpick he actually wins on. I think that there's 40-60 matchups that I would be more comfortable playing with than Marth Fox. And one of the reasons for that is because every Marth has played so much against Fox, so you can never rely on the other person being bad in the matchup. Every Marth is always going to be amazing in the matchup, but I'm going to put it at 55-45 now. We'll kind of have to see. I think this is very close to even, but leans slightly towards Sheik. So with this matchup chart, how good is Sheik? I think Sheik, it's hard to place her. I think she's clearly below Fox, Marth, Puff in terms of can she be the best character. I think it's very hard for her to be the best character when she outright loses 2 out of the top 3 matchups. Like Fox is very common and Puff should be more common. So for that, I think it's hard. However, I do think she's pretty tournament practical. She's not too hard of a character, so she's not impossible to have a secondary with. It really depends on how good the matchups end up being and if wobbling is allowed or not. If wobbling is not allowed, I truly think she's like she's extremely close to the top tiers. I do not think that Sheik is like not top contender whatsoever. I definitely think she can win in every single matchup. Puff is hard, yes, but again, I think it's more a case of you would rather play Fox than it's impossible to play Sheik in it. I would put her in the top 5 characters, like at the same level as Falco currently, but I don't know for sure if I think either of them is better yet. I'll probably make a tier list eventually, maybe at 200k subscribers. So yeah, let's hit that. That's gonna be it. Again, I might make a Fox chart later. Hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know if people like these kind of talking topics. I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling about why I'm doing something, and people have been asking me so often, like, why are you picking up Sheik? So I wanted to just make a video that I can link to whenever people ask and be like, here you go. Here's what I think. So yeah, let me know if you want more of this. Subscribe, like. We're trying to hit 200k. I like rambling. If you guys love listening to it, it's a match made in heaven. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
What the fuck? I've never seen that.
That was some situational awareness.